Have you ever wondered why your silent but deadly emissions can clear a room faster than a fire drill? We all do it. Yes, even the Queen of England. Farting is as natural as breathing, but the odors it produces can be quite diverse. From odorless puffs to room-clearing stink bombs, the range is truly fascinating. And that's precisely what we're diving into. So hold your noses, folks. We're about to embark on a hilarious yet educational journey into the science behind your stink bombs. First off, let's take a closer look at what a fart is. A fart, also known as flatulence, is simply a release of gas that's been hanging out in your digestive system. Now, before you start blaming your last meal, it's important to note that most of the gas in a fart comes from swallowed air and the normal breakdown of certain undigested foods by harmless bacteria in your large intestine. A typical fart is composed of about 5 key players: nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and methane. But here's the catch. These gases are all odorless. That's right, the majority of a fart is actually scent-free. So, if these gases aren't responsible for the smell, then what is? Enter sulfur compounds. These are the real culprits behind the notorious reputation of farts. You see, certain foods we consume contain sulfur compounds. When these foods are broken down in the digestive system, they produce small amounts of these compounds, which then get released along with the rest of the gases. And these sulfur compounds, my friends, are what give farts their characteristic smell. Some of the most common sulfur compounds found in farts include hydrogen sulfide, methanethiol, and dimethyl sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide in particular is known for its rotten egg smell. So if you've ever wondered why some farts smell like rotten eggs, now you know. Interestingly, the amount of sulfur compounds in a fart can vary greatly from person to person, and even from fart to fart in the same person. This variation can depend on a number of factors, including diet, gut bacteria composition, and overall health, among others. So while it's easy to blame the gas for the smell, it's actually the tiny amounts of sulfur compounds that give farts their notorious reputation. And remember, everyone farts, and everyone's farts smell. It's a completely natural part of being human. So it's not the gas itself, but the tiny amount of sulfur compounds that give farts their notorious reputation. Now, you might be wondering, why do some farts smell worse than others? Well, let's delve into the fascinating world of our diet, which plays a pivotal role in determining the aroma of our farts. Our bodies are like complex, well-oiled machines. The food we consume is fuel, and like any machine, the type of fuel matters. Foods high in sulfur, such as eggs, meat, and certain vegetables like broccoli and cabbage, tend to lead to smellier farts. This is because these foods contain compounds that are high in sulfur, which when broken down in our bodies, produce hydrogen sulfide gas. This gas is what gives our farts that distinctive rotten egg smell. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the complexity of our bodies. We're all unique and different in our own ways, and this extends to how our bodies process food. For instance, you and your friend might both have a plate of beans for lunch, but later in the day, while you might be releasing farts that could wilt a flower, your friend might be just fine. This is because our bodies process the same foods in different ways. The bacteria in our gut, which help in the digestion process, also play a significant role in this. Different people have different types and amounts of bacteria in their gut. These bacteria break down the food we eat, and in the process, they produce gases. Some of these gases have a smell, and some don't. The types and amounts of bacteria you have in your gut will determine how much gas is produced and how much of it smells. So, next time you're in an embarrassing situation, remember it's not entirely your fault. Your diet and the unique ecosystem of bacteria in your gut are the real culprits behind those smelly farts. And if you're looking to make things a bit more bearable for those around you, consider adjusting your diet. Consuming less sulfur-rich foods might just do the trick. Remember, it's not you, it's the sulfur. Before we wrap up, let's debunk some common fart myths. You've probably heard that men's farts smell worse than women's. Well, there's no scientific evidence supporting this claim. The odor of farts depends more on what you eat and less on your gender. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a level playing field in the smelly cloud department. Now, let's move on to a fun fact. Did you know that the average person farts 14 times a day? Yes, you heard it right, 14. Now, before you start counting, remember that not all farts are loud and proud. Some are silent but deadly, and others are silent and odorless. So tracking might be trickier than you think. Here's another myth. Holding in your farts is harmful. While it might cause temporary discomfort, there's no solid evidence to suggest that holding in gas can cause significant health problems. However, it's worth noting that letting it out when it feels right is generally a more comfortable option. And here's the funniest fact of all. Farts are flammable. Yes, because they contain methane gas. But please don't try this at home. We don't want any fart-induced fire incidents, do we? Next time someone complains about your farts, just tell them it's natural and blame it on the sulfur. So there you have it, the secret behind your smelly farts. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. We've discovered that farts are more than just hot air. They are a complex mixture of gases, with the main culprits being nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and methane. However, the unique aroma of our farts isn't from these gases. It's the sulfur compounds, such as hydrogen sulfide, that give farts their notorious smell. We then explored how our diet significantly influences these smells. Consuming foods rich in sulfur, like broccoli, cabbage, and eggs, can intensify the scent of your emissions. On the flip side, foods high in fiber may help decrease the odor,